All right, beautiful people, let's talk about why women are taught to fear their body. Let's talk about why it is normalized for women to hate their bodies outside of service, outside of giving children, which is a beautiful thing, outside of, learning how to drive him crazy. All of the marketing, every commercial, every book, every childhood lesson, every cartoon, everything is centered around a woman not liking her body, not trusting her body, not trusting her intuition, unless it's connected to service. And I feel so grateful that I absolutely 100% have known my assignment since I was young. I remember why I am here on earth and what I'm supposed to do. And I went through the process of hating my body, of hating my skin tone, of hating my femininity. And now, as a person who has healed from that, I have been teaching other people how to heal from that for 20 plus years. And so today, the topic is being disconnected from your body, why that has become normalized, why it's glamorized, and what in the hell we're going to do to change that. Because when you are disconnected from your body, make no mistake, being disconnected from your body, especially as a woman, it makes you not trust your intuition. When you fear your intuition, you fear being soft, you fear trusting your own moral compass, your own guidance, and then it forces you then to become addicted to what I call emotional surrogates. It makes you addictive to outside forces validating you. I mean, that's why social media works. Social media makes people very addicted to strangers telling them that they're valid. And this is what I wrote down. Being disconnected from your body, your femininity, your power, your sensuality has become so glamorized for high achieving, high functioning women who are leaders, who are the powerful healers of the world, the artist, which as a person who's an artist, who's creative, artists are the healers. We know from every tragedy that has ever happened in life, the healers are also the artists. But you're celebrated in this lifetime for being numb. You are celebrated even for living in fear. And if you are here joining live, just confirm in the chat if you can hear me and you can see me. And those of you who are new to this world, welcome to Healing Through Seduction. My name is Pearl Noir, and I'm about to be your sensual Jiminy Cricket. Now, the thing about Jiminy Cricket is he was just a guide, right? So take what I say. If it inspires you, please use it in your life. If it triggers you, then maybe it's not for you, or it is, because sometimes when we are triggered, it's actually our body giving a signal. Hey, this is what I want you to stop ignoring. I want you to just dive a little bit deeper. Okay, Samantha, thank you for confirming. Women are not just afraid of being seen. When I work with women online, when I work with them in person, and I got to tell you, so many times it's hard for them, for some of them, because I actually say, trust your body. I say, we're going to move our hips. I say, we're going to shimmy. I say, put on the lingerie outside of it being for someone else to validate you. I say, all right, move like you are imitating the sun. And there's a panic. It's like, well, what do you mean, Pearl? Show me the choreography. And I always feel grateful to say your liberation can't be choreographed. So there's this thing to where we are so used to being on autopilot. We're so used to following the pack as women, and we have to because we want to stay safe. But unfortunately, it trickles into our everyday life as well. It trickles into our mind, and we don't even know how to be free and liberated in the comfort of our own physical home, our mental home, our emotional home, and our body. And this is because women are afraid of being seen. Women are afraid of being judged. Samantha says, I see. Please feel free to elaborate. And also being afraid of being seen and exiled. We all know throughout history, any woman, and this goes for the other genders as well, but I was called to speak to women. Throughout history, anyone, even if they were doing good work, if they were bold enough to do the good work in the presence of people who didn't understand their good work, they were exiled. And I mean anyone. This goes from our Martin Luther Kings. This even goes to Jesus. Jesus. Even he was persecuted for speaking of love for everyone. So it's no wonder as a woman, you feel afraid of being judged. You feel afraid of being seen and being misinterpreted. Because being seen and being misjudged often does go into you being exiled. But the power of this generation, for us women, for us feminine beings, the threat of exile is actually a facade in this day and age. There's always going to be someone who misunderstands you. And it is our nature to pay attention to that. But I was born to encourage you to pay attention to the people who are not hating and to make sure that you are not your biggest hater. Okay? And so because of history, what happens is the strong woman, the healer, the nurturers do what Samantha says was lock ourselves off, right? And in order to stay safe, to stay a part of the group, to not disrupt anything, you stay where? In your mind. So now you're the intellectual one. So you're gonna get all of your degrees to make sure the outside world knows you're valid and that you are the safe kind of woman to be around. You're not going to disrupt. You also stay productive. We think about Big Mama, we think about Granny and Nana, and how unfortunate it is that usually on their deathbed, their dying days, their funeral, or their birthdays when we're celebrating them, the cards do not say, I really appreciate how often you showed me how to say no, Granny. The Hallmark card, the person standing up at the funeral doesn't say, I just love how you stood on business and you weren't afraid of your femininity. Grandma's cards or the strong woman, her card doesn't say, I love you because you said no to me. What does it say? You were the strong one. You sacrificed for me, and that's why I love you. You did X, Y, and Z, and that's why I love you. So as a feminine being, when you grew up watching all of the women around you who you saw as strong, only being celebrated for what they sacrificed, only being celebrated for their degrees, their intellect, of course, you do not trust, and you may even judge your own sensuality, your own body, because there are no Hallmark cards saying thank you for showing me how to celebrate my sensuality outside of trying to get married, outside of having, a man validate me, right? We want to get in a position to where we are not afraid to show up as our true authentic self outside of being needed. If any of this is resonating with you, if you're liking it, if you agree, if you disagree, feel free to respond to me in the chat. Let's talk about some very valid reasons why disconnecting from your sensuality, from your body, from your own moral compass, from your own intuition has been glamorized, and why it is even addictive. It feels good to be seen as the type of woman everyone can trust. It feels good to be seen as a type of woman that people see as wise. It feels good to be called the strong one, because in our mind, that it's proof, like I didn't let life beat me down, and I get it, because believe me, one thing I'm proud to say is I look nothing like what I've been through. Nothing like what I've been through. But I was born to learn the path and then to invite others who feel called to join me. So here are some reasons why feeling disconnected or being disconnected and staying disconnected and making a commitment to being disconnected has become glamorized and addictive, okay? Listen, I got some good comments in the chat here. Preach, okay? Yes, girl, you are a phoenix. I am, and you must be one too if you see that in me. Childhood conditioning is the number one problem that the women that come to me are facing. And the childhood conditioning is not us pointing a negative finger to our grandmas, to our mothers, our uncles, our aunts, our older cousins, the elders, right? Even if they told you you looked great every day, even if they told you to love who you are, even if they never told you to be quiet, get your hand off your hip, even if they never said, put more clothes on because this male church member is coming. Cover up, little girl, because male family members are coming. Even if they never taught you to be self-conscious in your body in that way, they put you in front of a TV screen and let you watch some cartoons thinking it was harmless. Meanwhile, the cartoons are conditioning you that you're praised for being the good girl. And if you are the eldest daughter, or if the middle or the youngest, and you were the one who was responsible of the other children, hello, I was not the eldest cousin, but I was always the cousin who was tasked with babysitting. So I'm actually closer to my younger cousins than I am the cousins in my group, my age group. And that is because I was praised for being good. I was praised for being independent. I was praised for being low maintenance, right? I grew up with a mother who at the time had a drinking problem. Thank God she's healed now. But growing up, I was told, just ignore any harm coming your way, right? Just ignore it. Just ignore the disruption and be good. So when you're the eldest or the one who's in charge, you learn early to be low maintenance. And the cartoons teach you to be low maintenance as well. And so what happens, y'all, we then become adults and our childhood is still affecting how we make decisions. So you decide to be low maintenance in your romantic connections. Oh, I'm not going to be, the gold digger. I'm not going to be the one who needs anything. All I need is the bare minimum, because that's what real women do. It's the conditioning. You're taught, do not be a gold digger, which translates to do not expect a man to meet you halfway or in the middle when it comes to the financial responsibility of the household. Then, which by the way, the first gold diggers were men. Look up, the $1 million brides, right? And then you're taught, be wholesome, but once the time comes, I need you to be a freak in the sheets with no experience. I need you to be wholesome until I get you. And then I need you to fulfill all of my sensual fantasies. Then it is, I still, in this day, I want you to be a traditional woman, but I want you to still go to work. I want you to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm just saying that there's real conditioning that makes it easy for the strong woman, the high functioning woman, the priestesses. Come on, Duchess, what's going on? We got a goddess in the house, right? It makes it so easy for you to become addicted to numbing yourself, because numbing yourself is safe. And I also see some of you are sharing your powerful truths in the chat, and I'm sending so much love to you. Yes, come on, masterclass. It's going down, y'all. Being the strong one has become your identity. You got love and attention, and most importantly, safety, by not needing a damn thing from anyone. And y'all, then it translates to you being the strong one for yourself. And I want to make it very clear. I was not called and born to teach women how to be sensual beings, how to be empowered in their body for the gauge of men, women, vampires, unicorns, non-binary people, trans people. I was born to ask you to feel all of this for yourself. Just put POW, P-O-W, POW, in the chat if you can hear me. I am not here to ask you to show up for other people. You're going to do that anyway. I'm asking you, how are you showing up for yourself? And when you have become the strong one who was praised for not having any standards and sacrifice, you then neglect yourself. Your identity also becomes, I'm not going to give myself anything. You stay here because it earns approval. You are rewarded for being the easy one, the agreeable one, self-sufficient, and people celebrate how much you can handle. Am I talking to anyone? It protects you. Feeling less in your body. Wearing the outfits that you truly want to wear. Putting your hair up. Putting on the red lipstick. The red nails. Walking out loud feels like danger. This also makes you highly functional, right? You can perform, you can produce, you can push without interruption. You get things done no matter what. Is that anyone in here? It's rewarded, y'all. You don't want to leave this addiction to disconnecting from your body, to disconnecting from your femininity and your power, because it's rewarded everywhere you go. It's rewarded in your workplace. You've got all the degrees. You're the perfect employee. You're the perfect entrepreneur. You're the perfect CEO. You don't question. You over-deliver. And you override your limits. It also gives you a false sense of control. Hey, daughter, Goddess Egypt. Okay, so when you don't feel in your body, it gives you the excuse not to slow down. You are numb now. You are on autopilot, and it gives you permission to disregard your hopes and dreams outside of service. Okay? It numbs the discomfort in the moment. So you don't have to face your grief and grief around you. Again, I'm talking about you. The grief of the identities that you keep suppressing. And I am not talking about who you are with other people. Remember, I'm asking you to bring it home to self. So you are now numbing your own anger, your desires, or your truth. Avoidance feels easier than staying present. And this is by design. We have a culture where it is normalized to work sitting down all day. We sit down to commute. We sit down and only move one finger to scroll. In my opinion, that is done by design. Because what happens is now we're all only operating in our masculine, and anything feminine is ridiculed, it's punished, it's laughed at, it says it doesn't matter. So your femininity asks you to move those hips. If you can, just sway those hips right now. If you can, breathe in and breathe out. Okay, you got some Palo Santo? Tap into your power, y'all. So that feminine energy allows you to move, allows you to heal yourself, allows you to avoid burnout. It is my belief that we are easier to control when we're numb. So everything that keeps us numb, everything that keeps us seated and stagnant is going to continue to be celebrated. But once you know better, it is up to you to do better. And it has nothing to do with the man. It has nothing to do with billionaires. It has nothing to do with anyone other than you. What is your commitment to you? This is how being numb becomes normalized. Let's talk about the cost. And if you recognize any of these costs, please let me know. And I really appreciate you all uplifting each other in this chat here. The cost of you continuing to ignore the call from inside. It's coming from where? Inside the house. The call is coming from inside the house. Your body is asking you, please stop ignoring me. Please stop ignoring me outside of service. Please stop ignoring me. So the cost of ignoring the call from your body is you build a life that looks good on paper, but it doesn't feel good when you're home alone. You find yourself constantly faking it, even in your romantic connections. You stay stuck in the cycle of overgiving. You're overgiving, you're overgiving, you're overgiving, and you feel the depletion coming on. And I'll tell you quickly, I found myself overgiving and overgiving as a coach. I found myself overgiving and overgiving as a mother figure to my community. I found myself overgiving and overgiving as an entrepreneur, overgiving as a performer. And one day, I kid you not, about 10 years ago, I got up and all I did, y'all, was stretch. And my body locked on me because she said, I will show you who's boss. Eventually, the body will win. And I was on bed rest for months. Couldn't move, was stuck literally like this. And all I did was stretch. My body said, and we're done, whore. You know, so you gotta listen to your body or it will shut you down. You miss the intuitive nudges that could change everything. As feminine beings, we are taught to ignore our intuition, which is the connection to body. And you are not going to tap into your intuition if you're not moving your body outside of service. When you ignore your body, your connection to yourself, your connection to your power, you keep attracting misaligned people, relationships, and opportunities. You then normalize the tension and tightness and the emotional suppression of self over and over again. You then start to lose access to your own pleasure, your own desires, your own creativity. You become disconnected from your yes and no. This is why your boundary setting and being creative and learning how to trust your intuition is one of the first things we talk about when I work with people in the Tease or either my Healing Through Seduction longer programs, right? It's about coming back home to the connection of your body. You keep choosing the illusion of safety over expansion. You start to feel invisible even in your own home. And when I say your home, I mean your physical home when no one's there. I mean your mind, your home here, right? Your home here, your voice, your body. You struggle then to receive love and support and money even fully. There's a repeated cycle of burning out over and over again. And what I, in my work with the mission-led entrepreneurs, with mothers, with therapists, with healers, with sensuality coaches who now need support, with the creatives of the world. To me, all of these are the healers of the world. We have to make sure the healers of the world are not burnt out. So if you're the strong one, when are you going to be strong for you? This is the invitation to be strong for yourself today. Let's talk about how the Tease, which I have another one coming up on April 18th, and you can do this work with me or on your own. But let's talk about what happens when you make a commitment to your body and your power and your sensuality again. You start to feel and you get out of your head. You access your intuition again. Your body now becomes your guide, your compass. You're not just in your mind. This kind of work also teaches you how to hold on to your pleasure more and how to feel desirable for self. That is so important. Okay, I got an amen in the chat. Thank y'all. Most importantly, because I know who I attract, you get to break the strong one pattern. You stop carrying everything on your own. You expand your capacity to receive the attention and support from yourself. And once you start to treat yourself like the divine feminine being that you are, the world will follow. But the world is only going to follow your lead. And this has nothing to do with like being perfect, with never having a toxic thought about yourself again, right? We are going to have the toxic thoughts. And I don't believe you can even have body positivity or confidence without acknowledging the fear, the doubt as you keep on evolving. In my opinion, you have to acknowledge all of it. When you make this commitment to yourself, then you not only teach the world how to treat you, but you truly have a moment to rebuild the self-trust. You have a moment to truly be confident. You have a moment to learn how to honor your yes and no without the guilt and shame attached. Because the guilt and the shame of being empowered comes from being taught that you have no right to be empowered as a powerful woman unless your power serves others. And you should absolutely serve. Hello, I'm serving now. But do we understand the difference in how I'm serving as a person who's serving on my own terms? I'm honoring my boundaries, right? Like after this, I'll work maybe like another hour and then I'll do my meditations. I'll dance for myself. I'll journal. I'll let myself cry. I'll let myself dance. And I let myself cry so that I can get out any powerful emotions, good or bad, that are lingering. And then I will rinse my body to make sure I'm not taking on any of your energies. There's a difference, right? This is about regulating yourself and activating your magnetism. Okay, so that you can live a life where you are attracting instead of chasing, instead of seeking the outside validation. There's nothing wrong with outside validation when it's healthy, when it's not depleting you if you don't get it. I want to open up the floor now to see if I have any questions about anything that I've said. Anyone want to share their thoughts? I also want to invite you to DM me the word Tease or New York City if you want information about my next activation, okay? This is where we don't just talk like we're doing right now, but you actually do the community activation. A lot of times what's stopping us from living out loud is our environment, and we don't have the community where we feel safe. So those of you who are interested in the Tease, I'm actually bringing it to New York City on April 18th. I usually keep my sessions online, but I have so many requests to bring this thing outside. I'm going to. Okay. Nothing to share or ask, but needed to hear all of this today. Oh my God, yes. Thank you for letting me know that. Once I, share the replay, I hope you'll revisit it, with your journal so you can take some notes and then maybe share it with your friends. Let's talk about what happens in my online in New York City activations, right? Whether you're coming to the Tease in New York or you want to work with me online. I'm not just going to speak to you. I'm going to be your sensual Jiminy Cricket. I'm going to be your guide. So you're going to be guided into your body in real time. You're not going to have to think. You're going to actually experience you. Okay? You are going to practice slowing down without shutting down, without having this fear that you're not allowed to shut down. I can't tell you how many mothers, how many CEOs, how many artists, how many sensual coaches, how many therapists who work with me, and they're like, Pearl, I just don't have time to rest. Like that's for the weak, or that's for the wealthy. It's like, I want you to take this imaginary badge of honor away and hear yourself. Even plants and flowers rest, even they stop. Even they stop to be admired and to be held and to be loved and to be celebrated. Okay? And you're going to do this too when you're with me. I'm going to be your guide. You'll be led through some sensual and intentional somatic movements to awaken that softness, the femininity, that feminine energy and power. All of us were taught to hate. All of us were taught to fear. All of us were taught that femininity is only important when it serves the fantasy of others, the wisdom, or if we're raising someone, a tiny human. And we want to get back to the thing that was taken from us on purpose. There's a reason I was born, for us to come back home to that sensuality. You're going to engage in these guided rituals, mirror work, and mirror work the way I do it, not the, hi, I love myself, and that's the mirror work. No, we're going to use the mirror. I like to see mirror work as a portal to activate parts of ourselves that we have been suppressing, and to look in a mirror to truly see ourselves without judgment. And one of the things I ask the women to do is say, instead of looking at yourself, I want you to caress your skin with the mirror. And I want you to imagine a version of yourself looking at your skin and saying these powerful words to activate you. What would you really say to yourself if you weren't being mean to yourself, if you weren't conditioned to harm yourself? What does that look like? And then we're going to conjure up that powerful version of ourselves. And I love to use the word conjure, because a lot of people, when they think of conjuring, it's like, oh, that's, some people think, oh, that's something spooky, that's something evil. Then some people, it's part of their religion, right? But for me, I'm like, no, when we think of conjuring, it's like, oh, we're going to bring the dead out. And I'm like, yes, that's what we're about to do, baby. You, what parts of you have died? Let's resurrect you. Let's resurrect the parts of you have been suppressing. And you must take responsibility for your own suffering. Because at some point it was clear to you that you were being conditioned. At some point, it was clear to you that you were being manipulated. At some point, you were like, man, the man is doing X, Y, and Z. Okay, so now you know better. You know better. I understand that speaking about it feels like you're making change. And you are, to a certain degree. But at some point, your healing work can no longer be about shadow work. It can no longer be about anger. It can no longer be about picking at an old wound. You must frolic. Okay, there's this black man that's like, y'all need to be more whimsical. You need more whimsy. Yes. At some point, your healing journey, your connection to your body, you got to start frolicking. You got to start frolicking. So when you work with me, I'm going to ask you to frolic. I'm going to ask you to resurrect the parts of you you have been suppressing. Okay? You're going to explore your desires without judgment. Why? Because you'll have me as your guide. You'll have a voice that's going to silence the crazy voices in your head. And let me also be clear. I'm offering a one-day activation on April 18th from 1 to 5 in New York. And you're going to get the ooh-ah sensation. I have over 1,000 testimonials confirming that. But what I also make clear is this must be a beautiful commitment to self. Every single day, your ass will die, faint, if you stop eating for a few days. You're about to die, homie. You're about to faint and you're about to feel weak. Every single day, your body says, I have toxins that I must release. This is a healing process that happens with our body. We got to eat several times a day. We have to release toxins. And I'm telling you, the same is true when it comes to your connection to your body and your liberation, your sensuality, your femininity. You got to feed yourself several times a day every time you feel the spiritual or sensual growl. You got to keep feeding. Your mind is meant to have crazy thoughts because your mind is trying to keep you safe. And what I'm trying to teach you is not to judge that. The same way you don't judge that your body constantly asks you to release toxins. You do not judge that your body is constantly asked to be fed. So you are going to be constantly asked to keep on giving yourself the ooh-ah sensation. We're also going to practice receiving. I'm going to ask you to receive yourself over and over again when you work with me during the tease. We're going to pay attention to how you're breathing. We're going to pay attention to what is sensuality outside of the groin area. How are we going to be sensual through play? This is where I bring in playing with water, the elements. This is where we bring in playing with feathers. This is where we bring in sound, right? I'm going to ask you and teach you how to release tension that you didn't realize you were carrying. I'm going to ask you to release the real and imaginary weight on your shoulders. Okay? You're going to shift from performing to actually being. And you're going to be held in a space where for that day, you're not going to be the strong one. I'm going to be the strong one for you. And you're going to be soft. You're going to be feminine. You're going to tap into your femininity, and your sensuality. Okay? And most importantly, you're going to leave with the tools during the tease to where you can incorporate all of this power, all of this knowledge before you, I always like to say before you walk into a boardroom, the bedroom, or when you're doing your me time. The tools that I'm going to teach you are not going to be the kind of tools where you're afraid. You're like, I don't have 2 hours, Pearl. I know you don't. So the tools I'm going to give you, you're going to be able to incorporate these into your everyday life, at home, at work. This is going to be as easy as brushing your teeth or drinking water. But you have to start finally saying yes to your body when you hear it. So those of you who are tired, DM me the word Tease or NYC. And let's see if the tease is aligned with your goals. But being disconnected from your body, it has become glamorized. It has become something that strong women, high functioning, high achieving CEOs, entrepreneurs, therapists, healers, artists are very addicted to because it has kept you safe. And I'm not asking you not to be safe. But in becoming addicted to being safe in the outside world, being addicted to being safe through outside forces, addicted to outside validation, unfortunately, the cost of that is now when you sit and tell the truth, you are no longer safe within yourself. And I was born to help you change that. All right? Thank y'all so much for being here. Let me scroll up and make sure I didn't miss anything. If you have any final questions, this is a good time to type them. Pearl Noir here. This has been another episode of Healing Through Seduction. I'm inviting y'all to the Tease on April 18th in New York City. I'm only working with about 10 to 15 women. I want it to be very intimate. I'm closing registration on April 5th because I want to give myself time to connect with everyone. Even though it's a group experience, I want to make sure everyone feels cared for and like you're still getting that one-on-one experience. And so what we're going to do is we're going to meet for 4 hours, excuse me. I used to do like a 2 to 4 week experience. And then, because I'm working with those high functioning women, those RTs, the healers, the therapists, it's like, oh, Pearl, like I couldn't come. It's like, yes, I'm going to come. And then people start, like, oh shit, Pearl, like life happened and now I can't make it. So now I've changed it to where you're going to get this transformation in one day. In one day, right? You're going to be in this community with me in one day. Okay? And I cut off the registration time because we meet beforehand online. So you know exactly which rituals we're doing. I also provide a digital guide for you. So you don't walk in with me in this very intimate experience going, now what the hell are we doing, Pearl? I want to make sure you feel nurtured and cared for and looked after before you come, during, and then after. I'm not going to just leave you high and dry because I'm a good lover, you see. After the Tease, you're also going to get a link to have a one-on-one with me so that we can see how you're doing, right? I want to know how you're doing. And then I want to make sure you're very clear on how to use the tools and the rituals for your everyday life. So it's going down, okay? Let's see here. Thank you, Queen, for sharing your brilliance and perspective. Thank you. I'm so grateful that I live in a time where all I need to do to honor my assignment is use my phone and use this powerful platform. And I know there are issues, right, with this platform, but there are issues with everything, even Mother Nature, right? I can be burned by fire, but fire can also keep me warm. I can drown in water, or I can be renewed by water, right? So everything has its two sides. It's just how do you want to use it? And so I'm very grateful that I'm allowing myself to trust my assignment and to show up here. And every time before I get on here, y'all, just so you know, because you might want to do this too, one way that I honor my power in my body is before I do this, I ask my body for consent, right? This would be considered foreplay, if you will. I don't just hop on here. I journal and I visualize how I want this to go. I also ask my spiritual team, my ancestral council, the universe. I ask that those who are meant to see this, see it. And I also go through each chakra and I ask my body for consent to show up. I ask my mind to trust my empowered thoughts, right? I ask my throat chakra to be open, to let me say the words I need to say to reach those I'm supposed to reach, and be confident that my words are going to inspire and know the truth that they're also going to trigger. My dance therapist says when you're called to heal, you're also called to trigger. So I ask my throat to be bold enough to speak my truth. I ask my heart to be open to letting myself be seen. I ask my sacral, let me honor that I'm a natural, sensual being, and let those who are meant to be inspired by that be inspired and feel confident. Let me living my truth inspire others to do the same. So I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Those of you who feel the pull, you feel the call to stop ignoring your body, to stop ignoring your desires, to be in a place where you're no longer disconnected from your body, from your brilliance, DM me the word NYC or the Tease, and let's see if my community activation is aligned with your goals. You can also hit that link in the bio. It says the Tease. And again, this is on April 18th. It is a 4-hour community activation. But mostly, and most importantly, I'm not offering a class. I'm not offering a dance class. I'm not offering a workshop. I'm offering an activation. I'm offering you the opportunity to live out loud, to trust your brilliance. And I'm saying I want to witness you. So that's what I have for you today. And I plan on going live tomorrow. Tomorrow, I want to talk about the other price of ignoring the body. I want to talk about how so many powerful women are actually afraid of their bodies because you don't want to be seen as Jezebel or hypersexual, which are two terms that, I hear all the time about myself. And so I want to talk about the role of not being seen as a Jezebel or hypersexual, especially if you're a Black woman, and what that means and how it has you hide. So I plan on going live. I believe I'm going to go live at some time tomorrow. So y'all be on the lookout for that. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to share this replay. If this was helpful, please share it with the people that you feel would benefit from this. And if you want to work with me in NYC, just DM me. You can also go to the link in my bio to download my free guided meditation. But this is not the meditation where you're sitting still, okay? We believe in moving our bodies to meditate and connect to a higher source here. You got to move your body, everybody. You are easier to control when you are numb. Now that you know better, it is up to you to do better, okay? Mwah. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Thank y'all for the love. Until next time, bye.